Boys, how are we?
Very good, very good.
Back for a MotoGP review show of 2023.
What a season it was.
What a season it was. And good to be back in the studio. We've been 4 weeks away, whatever it is.
I know.
All around the country.
Feels so odd.
Has it been that long? 4 weeks? It probably has been.
I think it's been 3 or 4 weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So we released Chris Vermeulen back about 12, 13 days ago. So that would have been, 3 weeks ago we did the pod. So you're right, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and Danby's episode wasn't here either.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of travelling.
It is nice to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be home.
I feel safe.
Oh, yeah, you're a man. We know he doesn't like to leave Diamond Creek.
Mr. Dymo.
Mr. Dymo, as he's called on Instagram.
Check him out.
All you'll see him do is just eating at the local Dymo pub, aka Snake Bit. He goes to the local Coles, and that's about it, don't you?
That's about it.
I reckon we got to get a few of our guests down to the Snake Pit.
Yeah, I think we do. have to
it's
do that.
beautiful down there, mate.
Yeah.
Rooftop bar and,
Yeah. A bit
Bit of
rough
talent
around the
around.
edges. Bit of talent. Well, at our Motorsport Republica Christmas party, and Tom, he needed like a sensory room because of all the large buildings. He was freaking out.
What were you screaming on the dance floor? Sorry, Tom.
get Vincent off.
It was. Yeah, for all the listeners out there, it was a very blurry night, and
We got home. I woke up the next morning at 6 a.m, played golf, and played really well. So I was stoked after 4.5 hours sleep. But it was a good night, and thanks for a great year, boys.
yeah, and
Yeah,
thanks to the
thank you,
listeners
guys.
for jumping on board.
Yeah.
And giving us a follow. It's much appreciated. We see it all.
We've got a nice Christmas edition getting released next week. So this is going to be our MotoGP
Yes.
season review.
Yeah.
And James, take it away.
Yeah, so look, we'll just be going through basically the highs and lows of 2023. Who was the overachievers, the underachievers, what disappointed you the most, what impressed you the most, what surprised you, who's most under pressure. A bit of just a small taste of 2024 and our thoughts on that.
Yeah, we will have a 2024 preview show as well, probably after the Sepang test, I would say.
Yeah, something along those lines. So, and then we can really dive into it, especially after the Sepang test when the bikes are a bit more refined as well.
Yeah.
They go back from Valencia, refine what they need to.
Correct.
Honda had 25,000 HRC engineers at Valencia.
25,000 more weight in Japan.
Yeah, I don't think we can take too much out of testing in Valencia. I think it was...
The guys are cooked as well.
Yeah, I think
they are cool.
It was just a get some bikes out on the... and just do some laps. And I don't think... Like, obviously, Marquez's performance was really impressive. Luca Marini's performance was great on that and Honda. But, the Sepang is where the cream rises to the top.
That's where you really get to see what's going to happen.
Well,
And even when Chris touched on...
I was about to say that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
How different the bike was.
Yeah.
So, my apologies.
Nah, it's great minds think alike.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. We're all in sync.
Yeah, we are.
We're all in
So
sync.
our cycles are synced up.
Flow up.
Daniel, who for you was your overachiever for 2023 MotoGP?
Overachiever. Oh,
Who exceeded your expectations?
probably Bez.
Yep.
I didn't really think he was going to do what he did, but then he dropped off. So for a portion, Bez. De Gea for that second half of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Bez is an interesting one because he had some unbelievable performances. In India, obviously won by, I think it was nearly 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He won in France as well. And early in the season, I mean, he started off third first, but so inconsistent.
Yeah, that was just his downfall. So I think in stages he was probably one of the biggest overachievers. I would say, because I didn't pick him to win a race this year.
What's that down from, you reckon, Daniel? Like, where does it come from? Because the first half of the season was so much better
Well,
than the second half.
he did have that accident in the broken collarbone or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that could have played on him.
Lose a bit of confidence.
Lose a bit
as
of
well.
confidence on the bike. Getting outperformed by your teammate doesn't help in certain stages. In his case, so it's just a whole bunch of things, really. Which, it's not an easy thing to come back from, especially second year in, somewhat fighting for a championship at one stage.
Well, he got third. He got third in the title. So
Just held on to it.
yeah. But he was there on an older bike.
Credit where it's still a championship winning bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely him. for sure in that probably first half of the season, and probably say collecting the second half would have to be De Gea. For sure.
Okay. Yeah.
He came from the clouds.
Yeah,
man.
he came from nowhere.
The clouds. He was nowhere.
Lost his ride and
yeah,
started performing. He was allowed to fix that bike up the way he wanted and showed what he was made of. So, yeah, I'd probably say it's a split between that. Maybe Binder a bit, considering who's around him and how many Ducatis are around him.
Yeah, that's what I said. I had Bezzecchi and Brad Binder because I think we all forget a long time ago at the start of the season, we all thought KTM was going to be nowhere. And he put that thing to, I think, 4th in the championship.
Yep, correct. And not by far.
Not by far. As you said, it was chasing down Bez. But I think Brad Binder was definitely the biggest overachiever when you look at where Jack was. Brad was pretty consistent all year round as well. He was still kind of up there, but he did drop the bike a few times.
Yeah, fluffed it towards the end of the year.
But for being all around those Dukes, I think he did awesome. But yeah, Bezzecchi as well. I think getting 3rd in the title, second year, on an older bike. It's still an older bike. They've all come out and said how different it is compared to the GP23 or GP20.
Yeah.
3, yeah. So yeah, they're my 2 anyway. And then, just to add to that, Furman Aldeguer, just a shout out to Moto2. Came from the clouds as well. So
he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we can't, I know it's very cliche, but we can't go past Martin.
Okay.
I mean, he overachieved more than what I thought he could ever do. Taking that to the last race of the season, I didn't see that happening at the start of the season, and we all knew he was going to be good.
Yeah.
We all knew he was going to be good, but to take it right up to Bagnaia like that, I was super impressed. And the world's his oyster coming into next year with that more knowledge on the bike.
Yeah,
definitely Binder. Like, he was thereabouts on most races. Like, you have to look at, he was fighting for the lead in Thailand. I think if you ended up finishing 3rd or 2nd in that race,
did well in sprints.
Yeah, did really well in sprints, and outperformed his teammate. Probably one of the biggest differences in the points gap, you'd say.
Binder and
there's
probably a bigger one between, say, a Pecco and a Bastianini, but that's due to injury.
Yeah, different.
So you probably can't count it. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, he made him look second rate.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at Binder finishing 3rd and 4th in races, and then, then Miller finishing 14th, 15th. So, but yeah, definitely, Ducatis. But look, you have to look at the Ducatis. They won 17 of the 20 races of the season. I mean, it was an absolute domination.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, Rins's performance in Coda was out of this world. And then obviously the...
Spargro's 2 wins.
Yeah, and Spargro's 2 wins as well in Catalunya and... Silverstone.
In the wet.
Yeah. So, yeah, Aprilia, interesting, up and down. Like, that Catalunya race... I don't know what would have happened.
Weekend, man.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened if Bagnaia stayed on the bike in that first corner, but you'd assume that they would have finished 1st and 2nd again. Anyway.
And as Danby said, it was super cold conditions in Catalunya, and that's when those Aprilias work.
Yeah.
Because normally Catalunya's at the start of the year.
Correct.
It's after Mugello.
Yeah.
But they got it's later on this year, so it was a completely different track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brings others into the fold.
Yeah, that's all right.
I think another surprise is being a bit selfish with MotoGP there, but David Alonso in Moto3.
Yeah, now let's talk about Moto3, Moto2.
Yeah.
For a rookie as well.
Bro, unbelievable
season. Did he get 3rd in the title? Was it 3rd in the title?
I think he might have.
Yeah.
I'll get it up. I think
double check, but I'm pretty sure he did. For a rookie to do that is pretty incredible under pressure. But it shows the Spanish man.
Was.
The Spanish the Spanish and the Italians in that lower category are just dogs.
They just dominate, yeah.
But when it comes to 15 in the pack, they're...
No, he's Colombian, but...
Same thing, well...
Same?
That's, I was... Yeah, you assume he'd be Spanish, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, good point.
3rd. He did pip 3rd by 19 points, 18 points. Yeah.
They're ruthless. Those little... fucking 16, 17, 18-year-olds. But yeah, he was right. He's a Colombian. I forgot about that. I think it was the first Colombian winner, wasn't he?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd have an amazing story, because to come from a country like that with not a real rich motorsport background would be a really interesting pathway.
It's an interesting one, though, because we get so many that have touched on the Colombians we've seen at Phillip Islands.
Yeah.
There's heaps of fans. Tom hangs his head in shame. They obviously love it, and they love the cycling as well.
Yeah, like it's interesting. It's like seeing that random South guy. You know, like it's up in there. Like you see a random Colombian flag somewhere. Like what the hell? Like how did they get there?
Yeah.
Like, but
I mean, they had Yanni Hernandez. He was good for a 12th to 15th.
I like Johnny Hernandez. He was good.
Yeah, he was one of your faves. But yeah, no, it's just interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And yeah. on to the next topic, mate.
Who or what I guess would say your biggest disappointments over in 2024?
Jack Miller.
Yeah.
2023.
2023, sorry. Wrong year.
Jack Miller, that's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
I get it, it's your first year on the bike, but I mean, dude, look at what did it take Marquez a couple laps to bloody get with the pace? I know you're not comparing the same thing, but he had a whole season on the bike and he couldn't get it done.
I think
he was just dropping it too much, and I don't know what was going on, but yeah, Miller was probably the biggest disappointment in the GP, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had Juan Mir down as my biggest disappointment.
Really?
Yeah, I know he was on a shit bike, but man, at some races I think he just
didn't want to be there.
Gave up and crashed, and he just showed nothing. And I think Marquez still showed something on that bike. And if Mir's a real world champion, he would have been behind him, ready to go.
I think they just didn't want to risk it on that bike, as you're kind of saying.
But yeah, just and I think Bastianini as well, but in brackets injury.
Yeah, he was injured.
But I think we might be too easy on him. He was fit by the end of the year, and he did nothing on that bike. So, and also the biggest disappointment for me for the whole year was the Japanese Grand Prix when it got stopped in the rain.
Oh,
because I was so excited for that race,
yeah.
And the championship was just boiling
Heating
up,
yeah.
And it was just such a disappointment.
That's why I pissed down, didn't it? And fuck, true.
Martin carving through.
Yeah, and it was just... Yeah, I mean, those things can change the championship.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Marquez was hunting down Pecco.
Yeah.
I wasn't far behind him. So it was probably, saved him a little bit there.
That's right. Michele Pirro was leading at one stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Right.
But going back to Martin, you look at, obviously, him crashing in Indonesia.
Yeah.
His tyre choice in Phillip Island, could have been a lot different.
Correct.
I know.
I mean, you look at Bagnaia in Spain and India as well, but... Yeah, I mean, that's what's so good about motor racing. It's just seesawing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't see that often as well as a red flag as a rain in MotoGP, but it obviously was fucking once. It's rained so many times in Motegi in the last 10 years. So it's 9 out of 10.
And F1 as well. Like the last season, there was so many rain affected races.
Yeah.
I reckon a few years there between 2013 to 2016, there was 2 wet races. So interesting. Global warming, fucking bullshit.
What about you, Jim? What about you?
I've got a few. So, Maverick Vinales, I reckon, was a major disappointment.
Mighty
Mav. I expected more from Mighty Mav.
Yeah, that's a good call.
On a good bike.
On the best bike.
On a good bike. And this was his year. I think it was 2 or 3 years now in on the Aprilia.
Yep.
He was dialed in on the bike and really saw nothing of him. Had a few little showings maybe in the sprints, but... Still, it was just the same old issue of just being bogged down on the starts, not doing anything.
Full tank
of fuel, or Marquez follows him and then he fluffs his qualifying lap.
It's true, but it's like we laugh, but it's true.
It's just the same thing, and I think that's it. They're done. Aprilia's done. We spoke about it with Danby. Next year's going to be their last years.
They've got to overhaul the team.
They're going to have to overhaul that team. They need 2 new riders in, Quartararo and someone. It's too... Those seats are just too good.
Yeah, they're just wasting precious time.
Yeah. The other one I had was the Sepang Grand Prix. And now that just comes down to aero. It was a shit race.
Yeah.
Fuck, it was boring.
That actually, I changed my answer. That was the biggest disappointment of the year. Because that was...
And the championship was heating up as well.
Oh my God. And Bastianini just getting out in front and then just winning the race just sucked. He wasn't even the fastest that weekend. He was not the fastest rider that weekend.
But it was 10 seconds, 8 seconds between each rider.
I know.
Nothing happened.
It was such a shit race.
And remember, they were replaying someone passing someone for
I think it was Quartararo and someone.
Quartararo.
3 or 4 laps almost.
Yeah,
that's right.
There's nothing going on.
Nothing happened. It was a snooze fest.
It was.
It sucked. So.
Yeah, that sucked. That was a terrible race.
And that's this aero, and that's another big disappointment of this year, I think.
But it's again, James, like, I know we touched on this, but like, why didn't we have those same races in Thailand and Indonesia?
That's right. I don't know.
Like, I get it, but they're similar. Like, you brought this point up.
Yeah.
Similar conditions, similar humidity, similar track temps.
I don't get it. There's got to be a reason.
Is
it bike setups? Is it aero setups? Is it just a different track?
Yeah, it's probably just bike setup, different track. Yeah,
it'd
be something to do with
maybe
track layout and where it is and part of the.
That's the worst race in
tyres. They bring different tyres.
Yeah, that's right.
Circuits,
Who knows?
The worst race in recent history in MotoGP.
Yeah,
worst race since, like, I think Lorenzo used to go out in front and dominate a race.
But at least that was like.
No, that was
because of him.
Too, but
yeah,
but it was because of him. Like, he was the antagonist for that. Like, he was just the man that was going to win.
Right.
It wasn't because of aero and someone's tyre pressure. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, he just got out and then pumped out the laps.
Yeah, that was because of his skill,
yeah.
not because of just, it's just no one likes him because he's up his own ass.
Mm.
We like him, but cheeseburger Lorenzo.
Repsol.
Repsol.
Oh, too many O's, mate. Couldn't fit it.
Yamaha.
Alpine Stars would have good zips. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Can't even handle Quartararo. And then the two biggest disappointments still for me as well is the Japanese factories. Like, when are they going to get their shit together? Yamaha still not doing anything. We made that clip on just before, and that's gone fucking viral.
Yeah.
About just bolting on aero. Honda, at least they're trying. At least they're trying, but like, they can't even, like, they lost Marc Marquez. That's one big thing. Like, you've lost a once in a generation rider, and he wanted to stay, and he left it almost at the last minute, but he wanted to stay. And like, the two Japanese factories, like, they've got the concessions now.
I was going to say, the concessions are going to help them.
So, can you explain what they involve, the concessions? Are they just allowed to change more parts, or are they allowed to...
They're allowed more... I think there's 3 or 4 stages of concessions. Just depends which level you're on.
Yep.
You're allowed more wild cards, more engines, more aero development, mid-seasons.
Yep.
Is basically the crux of it. Where basically now Ducati is just... That bike they almost bring at the first round now, guitars just about going to stay the same all the way to Valencia.
Yeah, I think you get some minor upgrades here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More testing, you get more private testing, I think, as well.
It's interesting that Ducati agreed on that.
Well, you got to remember they would have copped it when they came.
Yeah.
So
they had concessions for a long time.
Yeah.
I think we touched on it last week with Danby. The only two that disagreed were KTM and Aprilia.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
which I can understand. They've gone out and they've developed their bike for years and years and years, and have taken it up to Ducati in the last 2 or 3 years.
They're 80% there.
Where Honda's been nowhere and Yamaha's been nowhere for the last 2 seasons.
Why does Yamaha just still look the same? It still looks the same when Rossi rode it in 2010. It still looks like a Fiat Yamaha.
It does. It's exactly the same with wings on it. If you strip it back, it would almost be identical.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are they stubborn? You know what I mean? Do they have old heads in there that think like they know best? Are they not getting young people or people that are willing to push those boundaries in terms of development and aero on a bike to get them to where they need to be?
That's right. Is it a Yamaha thing? Because if you look at Yamaha pre-Rossi, they were nowhere, and the last person to win a title, I believe, was Wayne Rainey. Before he had his accident, he was Yamaha. Then there was no one until Rossi. They were nowhere. No one was developing that bike. Then he developed it all the way till Lorenzo won the last title in 2015. And then you had Quartararo. But it just seems like they just stay at their own pace and they don't either lead. They don't lead that technological shift like Ducati or Honda have done. They just kind of stayed in their own lane, and
I think they got lucky, especially with Rossi and Lorenzo and the caliber of riders they had on the bike.
Well, Davide Brivio, I think, brought Rossi over, and that he's obviously one of the best, and he demands perfection and developed that whole bike, changed the whole thing, had a good team around him. Maybe they rested on their laurels.
Yeah, potentially.
Because they had 2 great riders on there, but like Quartararo is a great rider. and look what he's doing.
That's right. Look, that just speaks, volumes of what he did in 21
Yeah.
to win that championship.
I just don't
Wasn't
understand.
an easy win.
That bike needs to change. Like, you see the evolution of the Ducati, you see the evolution of the Honda, you see the evolution of the Yamaha, the Aprilia, the KTM, but the Yamaha still looks the same with some fucking fins.
Yeah, it's cooked. It's ridiculous. They got to get their shit together.
And get a V4. They're still an inline 4.
That's probably another reason why they come unstuck as well. I think you got to move on from that.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a dying breed.
Yeah.
They're the last ones.
They are.
They're the last ones.
They are. At least Rins knows how to ride an inline 4
Yeah.
and can win on it.
I feel sorry for Quartararo.
Oh man, so do I.
Yeah, he showed some signs this year. Like, he put that bike on the podium in India.
He finished ahead of Jack Miller
Yeah.
in the points.
Not hard.
10th.
Yeah, but on the bike, that's a crazy effort considering the bikes that they were on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, another big disappointment for me was Alonso Lopez in the Moto 2.
Yeah, good point. Great
Man,
point.
I was so shattered. I was like, that's it. He's coming out.
Yeah.
He's going to take it to Acosta. I had no thought that Arbolino would or like Canet would fight for as much as what they did. And I didn't really have anything on Aldeguer. Like, I was like, yeah, he's good, but like Alonso Lopez, man, like,
Yeah.
I thought he's going to come out firing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good season.
Did he even win a race?
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. He struggled.
Yeah. He was like a constant fifth.
I think he finished like 9th or 10th in the championship.
No, Gonzalez was a constant fifth. I think he finished he finished
pod
fifth.
fave.
He finished fifth about 8 times in a row, I think, the poor fella.
Where is he? He finished 7th. Yeah, and Manu Gonzalez was 8th.
Disappointing.
Yeah, it was. He had a 2nd in Argentina, 3rd in Spain, 3rd in France, 3rd in San Marino, and then the 3rd in Valencia. Gee, I didn't even know he finished there. Oh, no, shit.
Let's see looking at.
No, yeah. He had a 3rd in Valencia. I didn't even know he had a 3rd in Valencia.
Fuck, there you go.
Like, that's how he's only 5 points ahead of Gonzalez.
Yeah, right.
So
it is a disappointment because he was one of my. I always thought, okay, Costa's going to win, but he was going to be second.
Yeah, he was the next guy in line.
Yeah, and Canet should have done more as well. He should have won a race.
Come on, man.
Always a bridesmaid mop.
So they were probably the biggest ones.
Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting season next year, Moto 2. We're going to all think that Aldeguer is going to, dominate, but we'll see. Someone's going to come. You don't know.
Yeah.
Because same thing with Alonso. Like, you just don't know.
I'm not sold on Aldeguer yet because of Alonso Lopez.
Yeah, that's right. And and you'll see guys like, a massive surprise was Sergio Garcia, and the way he rode midway through that season, started putting it in some good spots. Yes, he was a bit inconsistent, had a few offs, but out of all those guys that came up from Moto 3,
yeah,
he performed the best.
100%.
Yeah.
So those guys have now got a year under their belt. So you might see guys like Guevara, Foggia, and him start to bring another level again, which realistically they should because they are very talented riders as well.
Very talented.
Yeah. So and you always need. It seems you always need 1 year in Moto 2
at least.
Really,
sometimes it's more.
Yeah. So sometimes it is.
I think Alex Marquez, it took 3+ years before he won that title.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting with those guys coming into the mix. Like, you would think they would outperform their teammates as well. They should.
Yeah.
Like, Guevara should outperform Dixon. Foggia should. I don't know if he's with. Yeah, he's in Italtrans, which is Joe Roberts. He should outperform.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be a bit hard. Joe Roberts is pretty good, but Garcia should outperform easy.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing. We got Onshu coming into the class, which is super exciting.
Favorite.
Tom's fave. So
early prediction. We'll see how he goes. It's just crying out for that bigger bike.
Yeah, legit.
Bigger frame, boy.
But yeah, that's the thing. Again, just going back, Alonso Lopez just super disappointing.
That's why I'm not sold on Furman. And it's crazy. I think MotoGP is the biggest knee-jerk reaction sport. Like, he wins a few races, bang, Pramac gives him a 2-year deal, 25. Like, isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
But the thing is, if they don't jump on him, someone else might. And if he is a gun...
Well, there's a gamble. Like, the gamble paid off with Quartararo.
Yeah,
he won a couple races, and then bang.
Yeah.
And he wins the title a couple years later.
It's interesting. see something.
There must be something
in them, but in the back of the pits, talking to the
Yeah, that's right. They see stuff that we don't.
We don't. Yeah, and that might be like the Yuki Tsunoda of the worlds as well. Like they must see something in there when they're doing their sim work in
like
F1.
Telemetry, whatever.
Yeah, like something like, wow, this guy is a gun. So
yeah, that's a great point. Actually, they might see that he's with their mechanics going, "No, we need to do this, and the kid could be a genius at developing a bike.
Yeah,
so you just never know.
That's
a great point.
Yeah.
Does that show you if they perform so well in the second half of the season? Does that show you that they are good at developing a bike?
I think it might be hard to say in that category because I don't think you can really develop the bike as such.
Yeah.
It's pretty fixed on what you can and can't do.
It just must click.
Changes?
I think that's all it is. It just clicks.
Yeah.
You get to some tracks that you like. You get on a bit of a roll. You feel like a king of the world.
It's in between the ears.
Yeah, that's all it is. I think
especially
with
those categories. Racing. Yeah.
You know, in GP different. You can develop the bike as you go. You're getting updates, big updates, and all that kind of stuff.
It could be luck as well. There's so much stuff you see in a turn one where you get pushed out, you drop 9 or 10 places, and your race gone. You know, especially if you start 8th and you drop down to 16th.
Qualifying performance gets better. Race performance obviously will improve with that as well.
Start to feel
tire management.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah. But I mean, he came out of the blocks in some races and then dominated.
It was just left him for dead.
Nothing to do with tyre wear. Like he was just
Furman.
Yeah,
he was just rapid as.
Yeah, so it's just confidence, isn't it?
I don't get that with tyre wear. Like Jack Miller and Brad Binder, they're sliding that rear in, and I know we speak about it, but how is it different? Like,
I believe it's more coming out of the corners.
Is he just
I think he lights it up a bit harder.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Because, I mean, even Marquez has that same similar riding style when he's on, backing into the corner, and it's just right throttle.
I think Marquez has always been pretty good on tyre management.
Is everyone's throttle on their right hand?
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine that on the left.
Yeah. Because I heard I think someone broke their arm or had issues with their hand. They actually swapped it over one race from memory. And they've got I think, who was it throughout the year?
Well, I know Doohan, when he had his big operation on his leg, had to have his rear brake on his thumb.
Yeah, I think they've all...
Back in the day, but now they've all got that. They've all got thumb brake. But that was...
Didn't someone go to thumb brake halfway through the season? I think it was Digi, and then...
He got little things that he asked for, and hence his performances,
Isn't it amazing just those little things for Digia and...
But again, that's also in between the ears, because if you're doing something, you go, I'm not really confident with this, or it's not how I like it. And you just check yourself out. You're just thinking about it. You cook yourself.
Would a rear brake ever become standard on a road bike?
A thumb brake? No, I think a lot of stunt riders do it on their bikes because they use it a lot. Doing tricks, but I couldn't personally see it. I don't think supers have it on the thumb.
Okay.
Yeah, or they might, but I couldn't see. I couldn't see it coming into road bike riding because you're typically on your fronts a little bit more than a lot more really than.
Yeah, you're not really using your rear brake much at all unless you're
But for the wank fest of an R1M saying, "Hey, I've got a thumb rear brake."
Oh, 100%.
People would eat that up. They wouldn't use it.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's right. We're too scared to use it.
Yeah.
But that's I couldn't see it happening in the foreseeable future, but that's great points.
You see the electronics get passed down, winglets got passed down. You never know. I don't know.
No, that's it.
What if they ever put a rear ride height device on your fucking Tuono?
Now we need to talk about that. Is it getting banned or not? I don't think it is.
Because we saw it on the Valencia test.
I'm very confused about this.
So I seen something after that. What you mentioned, and it's now hydraulic or something.
Okay.
So it engages on its own.
Oh,
you don't need to engage it.
Okay.
So they've worked around it.
So I think they've worked around it. So, because you will still squat under power.
Yeah.
But what I seen, I can't remember where I seen it. It might have been on a tech page on Facebook. And it's just something that activates solely on its own. There's no need to press a button.
I was under the impression it was banned for next year. But I think front rider height got banned this year. And I think that's what confused me. Because remember they were all sinking down for the starts? That wasn't here this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That's
because remember some of them got stuck down.
Yeah.
After the first for the restarts and stuff. So I think that's where I got confused this year. I thought they were banning it all together, but obviously they've gone down a different path, more safer path.
Yeah. it's funny. There's always ways around it. They're always going to do different things to try and get around. I think just on F1, Merck had that thing when they hit the brakes, the steering wheel would come out or whatever it was.
It would point the wheels in like this and out for better aero and stuff as well.
Yeah, so there's always ways that they're going to try and get around it, and I would like to see it gone, to be honest. Because it would then come down to what you said before about the right wrist.
Yeah.
And the actual rider.
So is it all about traction or is it aero?
That's more like a traction thing. The rider height, I think, helps.
So getting the more weight on the back?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because say, for example, take someone like Miller, right, who's probably a bit harsher on an exit.
Yeah.
He'll light him up even more. And then you got more chance of, as we like to say, sending yourself into orbit.
Yeah.
If you lose traction, then it gains and it'll flick you to the moon. So,
well, it's funny saying that because I remember watching Faster, one of our favourite movies, and if anyone hasn't seen it, watch Faster. It's the best MotoGP movie ever made. And they were talking about the differences between the 500s and the the four strokes. And the 500s is all about carrying corner speed through, but the four strokes is about coming out of the corner, standing the bike up as fast as you can, and then laying down the power.
Yeah.
So it's obviously same principle, but now they're just squatting the power down and then lighting it up.
Yeah, so I've seen a really good video, I think it was some stage last year, the year before, in different ways to take the corner, and one's obviously like a big loop to carry that speed through, but then it's hard braking in, point and shoot, get up and go.
Yeah,
and
more like a double apex and
correct. Yeah.
Turning in early and
So it's funny how it's changed and how it's all working.
Bloody oath. Best race of the year, fellas. Tom.
I'm gonna go. I really enjoyed Thailand.
Yep.
The battle for the lead was just amazing. And obviously went down to the last corner. I really enjoyed that race. Binder being up there, and then obviously the two title, the title fight was going on at the same time. So that was a highlight for me. There was so many great races throughout the year. There's so many to remember because you got 22 races plus 22 sprints. So we had 44 races.
My brain can't handle
and
that.
it's like I thought Alex Marquez's performance in Silverstone in the sprint was amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. The only memory from Barcelona was Bagnaia's crash, and I don't remember that race. It's interesting how little things you remember.
Yeah, I don't think it was a great race after.
I think it was pretty stock standard.
What about you, James?
For me, Phillip Islands. Couple reasons we were there. Great weekend, besides the weather on Sunday, and it was drew to the Saturday. Really awesome by the event organisers as well to actually make that clear decision, swap the race to Saturday. But I thought it was just great. It was a great spectacle to see Jorge Martin have a chance, take a chance on that soft rear. Watch him get reeled all the way in by Pecco.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was amazing to watch. And it was so good where we were at turn 1 because we saw it all unfold.
And Pecco's move at Honda, trying to pass those two bikes, was probably one of the moves of the season.
Yeah.
Didn't come off. He obviously got one, but that was just so much risk. And I really enjoyed that. So much respect.
So much respect. He did really well. He's very good. He's very calculated, Pecco. And when he wants to be aggressive, he is. And when he isn't, he isn't. And he always normally pulls it off. So... just
to add on that, I really enjoyed Vinales and Bagnaia's crash in Le Mans.
Le Mans?
Yeah, are they pushing and shoving? Yeah. That was really good until they shook hands afterwards. That was bullshit, but they had to because the press. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
And very, very, very good for Zarco to finally get his win.
Yeah, that was great to see. Yeah, the backflip was wicked.
Yeah. Oh, well, you were right there as well.
That was pretty cool. Because I was like, everyone's going past, put the phone away, filming everyone, waving, whatever. I'm like, holy shit. Like, our producer Curtis was with me, and I was like, Curtis, I'm like, smashing the poor kid's arm. I'm like, he's going to do a backflip.
He would have broken his arm.
Yeah, he was a bit ginger.
we unveiled Curtis in the photo last week.
Yeah, the Christmas party.
Maybe special guest on the...
possibly, yeah. He's quite aloof, Curtis.
See if we can get him
very hard to get hold of.
Yeah. Enigma.
We're going to be in the engine room for producing all the stuff, so... the relief room, we call it.
That's funny. Brilliant. What about you, Daniel?
There's a few, man, to be honest. Jerez was awesome.
Yeah.
Good racing. It was great to see Danny Pedrosa back.
Oh, of course.
And sticking it to everyone.
And a red flag that race, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
I
There's
think
big accident.
Oliveira crashed and was it?
I think
Marquez
might have been involved in something there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he stayed on. But that was pretty good racing.
Yeah.
I think in the sprint, the KTMs took it to Pecco as well.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good race. Silverstone, Alicia's win in Silverstone was pretty good. I mean, credit to Pecco for being the leader in those conditions.
Yeah.
You know, I really thought that was an interesting race. Coda, I love Alex Rins.
Yeah, he's a man.
He's so cool.
It's amazing to think he won a race this year.
I know.
It's crazy.
Like, it is crazy. Like, you have to really go, and you look at you go on Wikipedia, you go and look at the race results, and there's Alex right down the bottom with a little one next to his name.
It's so good.
Like, it's just crazy, yeah.
There was so many. And then...
Can you take us through that race? Do you have memories of
Coda?
Did Rins get out in front? Did someone crash?
Pecco was out in front, and then Rins was sort of there or thereabouts, but nothing, like, not threatening. I don't think he did at all.
Yep.
Or he might have slightly, and then Pecco just binned it in that
the right hander
in the right hander,
second corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's right.
blamed it on the bike being too good.
That's right. He did too. Yeah.
He goes, I had no
too much feeling.
Yeah, too much feeling on the bike.
And then he came out and said it's that the satellite team shouldn't get factory bikes or something as well. Wasn't that on?
Yeah, that was
a bit going on afterwards.
Yeah. Had a bit of a whinge.
He does have a bit of a whinge every now and then. But it was very quiet the second half of the season.
Yeah,
very quiet. And the results showed. I mean, we looked at before he finished first or second or third in the last 6 races of the season.
Yeah, that's right.
Going to win you a championship.
It was crazy. So, but yeah, then Rins just freaking took control, and he's a big fan of that track. It was his 3rd win at that track. 2 on the GP and 1 in Moto 2.
Yeah,
he loves it.
And then Marini finishing 2nd for one of his first podiums, if not his first, and then Quadraro finishing 3rd.
Such a random,
such a weird podium.
Yeah, true.
Some wicked racing all year. I actually really like the Qatar Moto 3 race.
Yeah,
with Massia and
fuck yeah,
bullying
Adrian Fernandez and Sasaki.
Man.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that.
That was a good spectacle. A lot of people hated it, but I don't know if that you or my teammate. Yeah, I'd be punting console.
Yeah,
you to win. Oh, sorry, that was just sorry.
42 minutes.
I think a lot of press came out of that, and including McDoohan. It's racing. Like, that's what's so good about Grand Prix racing. It's so raw like that.
Yeah, if he's like your best mate, like, if you're going for a title, like,
you're going for a title, man.
And Sasaki he didn't deserve the championship. Not one bit. Not winning a race. That's crap.
And then he won Valencia when it was too late anyway.
That's right. Which I think he would have ended up winning the championship if he had carried it over to that week.
And I would have lost my $2,000 bet.
Yeah, true.
How was he winning at Valencia? I mean, such a Japanese thing to do. Such a Japanese thing to do. When the pressure's off, he wins. Oh my god.
Crazy. But yeah, otherwise, Pedro Acosta's celebration in Mugello.
Yeah, I got to take me back to that one, Daniel.
Was it Mugello? He had a pretty big celebration with the pizza. The pizza delivery, Pedro Acosta.
Oh, bro, I can't remember.
Oh, that was pretty good.
I might have
surely not his highlight of the year, that one.
No, just it's like...
Anything with pizza.
Anything. Look at the size of me.
You didn't send him down half an hour to fucking Sydney Road to pick up the pizzas but like last week.
No. I took him to live on
the street. 35 minutes down the road.
It was a pizza. Alright, but all the listeners will tell ya. So we're doing the
cheap though.
It was cheap.
Yeah, but the money you save, you spend on fuel.
Yeah,
so.
We did electric car, bro.
We did the pod last week, and Daniel was like to me and Tom, I've got some pizzas organised. We'll go pick them up. And we're like, oh yeah, no worries. It's like, it's in Coburg, and we're in Strathmore. Anyway, we leave the place and we put in the maps. It was like 30 minutes. He's like, and he literally says to us, just around the corner. We drive past the pizza shop, literally 30 seconds from his house, bustling.
It was closed.
It was people everywhere.
Busting.
It was busting.
It was busting.
Fact, no cap.
Fact, no cap. And we have to go all the way up Bell Street, down Sydney Road, basically into the city.
Gridlocked.
Gridlocked.
Turn it up.
Got the cheap pizzas.
5 pizzas for $50. Though.
Yeah,
Where do you get that these days?
Yeah, you don't.
Value.
That was value. But anyway, we started the pod an hour late because it was an hour round trip, and anyway, we got there in the end.
It was worth it.
Fucking, that's...
Shout out to Coburg Pizza. We're asking for sponsorship. To get a plug, all you need is 3 large delivery pizzas every Monday.
Yeah.
But,
Shit.
yeah, then just seeing obviously some cool collaborations within the paddock for helmet designs and
Yeah, that's
and all that
cool.
kind of stuff. I get off on that. So
Pedro Acosta's one, Jerez was good for me.
yeah, I like the antisocial stuff with Alps.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty dope.
How much you spend on that collab this year, Daniel?
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Over $200 more. Over 300 something bucks.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And the yellow Ducati, Misano.
Yeah, that was dope. That was pretty
beautiful.
cool. The Barbie movie Aprilia.
Yep.
Different. And then KDM's livery was cool in Spain.
Yeah.
They busted out. That was pretty dope as well. So there's some cool stuff getting around.
Yeah, it's good. It's bloody good. So, best race of the year for you after all that, Daniel, was Coda.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
That was a list.
Can I just mention that I think it was the craziest stat of the year was there was no back-to-back winners in MotoGP.
Yeah, how that baffles
how have
me.
we missed that?
That is just crazy. Like, not one back-to-back winner.
No.
That's true. It is MotoGP it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's just dominated by one manufacturer.
Well, 17 out of the 20 were Ducatis.
And every single rider on that manufacturer won a race. Sprint race or a Grand Prix.
Yeah, they did.
On the Ducati.
Yep.
But it isn't a healthy... The talent pool of riders is very healthy.
I think,
yeah.
I think when VR46 eventually goes to Yamaha,
Which
it's going
is
to really
needed.
even out the grid nicely because you're going to have two teams for Honda, 2 teams for Yamaha, 2 teams for KTM, 2 teams for Aprilia, and then only 3 teams for Ducati. So it's going to change that aspect of it, and it's crying out for that as well.
It is. It's getting back onto that Yamaha situation. I was going to bring this up before. Is with Rossi sounds like he's going to come on board. That's when they really need to pull their finger out because you've got the most marketable man in motorcycling ever, and he's going to run his brand. He's the brand ambassador. He's going to have his brand, his team on that bike. Look what he's doing on that Ducati. He's going to want results.
Yeah.
The man's going to want results. He's a winner.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, and Yamaha need a...
That's where they need to come to the party.
Yeah. And they did more than what we saw in that Valencia test, and Quartararo had nothing good to say. Same shit.
Yeah.
You think he's all but
It's
gone.
Sepang. That's probably the most interesting one for me going into Sepang is that Yamaha.
Yeah,
if it still looks like a Fiat Yamaha, I'm done. I'm walking out.
Yeah.
Not watching GP.
That. But, you know, it's crazy.
It's true. Very true.
Who was your biggest surprise packet over the year?
Probably David Alonso,
Yep.
to be honest. Across everything. It's just out of nowhere. Won, I think, 3 or 4 races.
Yeah, I'm with you there, to be honest.
Took it to everyone. You know, quality field in Moto 3.
Well, Moto 2 and Moto 3 both had big surprise brackets, didn't they?
They did, really. Yeah.
With
Even
Furman
Furman
and
Aldeguer.
David Alonso.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking good point you make.
Yeah, my biggest surprise for the year was definitely Digia's second half of the season.
Yeah.
I didn't. No one saw that happen.
saw it coming.
Like, that was incredible.
I don't think Digia seen that happen.
No, and he nearly won Valencia race. You have to think, and obviously got those 3 positions.
So stupid.
But
That was
him
stupid.
winning 2 main races for the year would have been incredible, you know. And he would have won if it wasn't that bullshit fucking Ducati bullshit where he didn't want to pass back. Like, he could have passed him.
Yeah.
He could have passed him if he was on a different team with no contract in front of him.
Yeah, the
He would have
VR46
chucked it on the
contract.
inside on that second or third corner at Valencia.
He would have had a crack at least.
yeah, that's right.
He was close enough to. Bro, it's the last
100%.
lap of the race. Like, you're gonna have a crack, you know.
He should have anyway.
Yeah.
Well, but
the guy was still winning the championship. Even if he took him out, he was still winning the championship. So what's the difference?
Fuck the celebrations, but he couldn't have done his gay basketball slam dunk
three-pointer.
That was cringe, man.
That's
so
my
biggest disappointment of the year. I've changed 3 times.
That was a shit celebration.
He's just got no X factor or something.
Yeah, there's no personality.
Yeah, there's nothing behind it.
Yeah, it's so weird for being an Italian. Like, it's him and Marini are the same thing.
Marini kind of pulls it off, but
he's cool. Where Bagnon's a bit dorky.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's not marketable like your Jorge Martins or Bezzecchis of the world.
Or
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, Bastianini's he's a good-looking fella.
Yeah.
We're not getting into that again, though. We spent 10 minutes talking about that.
Get a bit nervous?
Yeah. Well, 4 weeks ago, we were talking about who the best-looking rider was, didn't we?
Driver.
He's
flustered. Look at him. He's red.
Yeah, I'm getting hate thinking about Bastianini.
Well, who do you think the best-looking rider is?
Bastianini.
Right.
One photo.
One photo.
Yeah, I reckon
He loved it.
Bastianini
He was licking his lips, that fella.
He's just never seen a fucking mammoth mountain fucking walk up to him. You're thinking to rob him. Thought you were part of the Apex gang.
Dude. My favourite thing for all MotoGP season was the photo with us and Joel Kelso.
Oh, yeah, you could have fit your pockets on.
You look like a toothpick.
The poor kid's just like... He's like a deer in headlights.
It was like Tom, and he was like a little potato gem on his food plate.
He's tiny, isn't he?
Oh, dude, it's just the
tiny.
funny. He looks so scared in the photo. It's brilliant.
It's like you've just captured him.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's so funny.
Man.
For my who surprised me the most, it basically was the same as you. It was David Alonso, Fermin Aldeguer. The other one I had was Marc Marquez going to Gresini Ducati. Who would have saw that company?
Tom.
Yeah.
Obviously Tom. Yes, we know Tom. Congratulations, it was amazing. But going into the start of Portimao, Marc Marquez going to a Gresini Ducati. Just for anyone, obviously Tom's knows something better than us, more than anyone. But for the average man, we obviously don't claim to be psychic like him.
Mortals.
Yeah, we're just mortals. It's crazy. It's just a crazy thing that happened. From the Ferrari of MotoGP to a independent Ducati team.
Yeah.
Italian team.
On year-old machinery as well.
Year-old machinery.
That's the big thing for me, like not being on a factory bike next year.
Like, that's just a massive surprise. You would always think... I thought if any year they were going to fix their shit, Honda was going to be this year.
I mean, it looks like Honda are doing so much more than Yamaha, so...
They are.
Yeah, and we'll see that. That's the paint test.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's hope so. Boys, most under pressure for 2024, and I guess your early predictions as well of what can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bastianini's probably the most under pressure going into next season. I mean, it's similar to Formula 1. There's going to be loads of contracts coming up in the end of the year, but Bastianini for me.
Yeah.
I think Morbidelli is most under
it's
pressure.
A good shout.
On that Pramac, it's a sought after seat.
1 year deal.
1 year deal. A lot of pressure. He's got to pull his finger out and perform.
Yeah, definitely. He has to perform. We've spoken about this. He's got to finish. He's got to finish in that top 6.
Yeah.
So definitely falling upwards. So
Zarco finished 5th in the title.
Yeah, like
that's Zarco. That's not mentioned enough.
He actually podiumed, I think, like 3 or 4 races in a row mid-season, which obviously helped him a lot. But yeah, went a little bit unspoken about.
Yeah, so Morbidelli's definitely one. He's probably the biggest one, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think Bastianini's a good shout.
Yeah.
Well, Bastianini's I don't think he's going to be there in 25.
Not if Martin has another year like that.
Well, you can't see Martin going any worse. He's only going to get better and better.
Strange things have happened.
Yeah.
True.
Strange things have happened.
Injuries, who knows?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So.
And he rides like he's going to get injured.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
That is the scary part. So, I think there's a couple other riders as well throughout the other classes. Like, I would say Canet's probably under pressure.
Yeah. New team as well.
New team. So he'd be under a bit of pressure. Jake Dixon's got to be under pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I don't necessarily like him, but that's a good seat, that
Yeah.
Aspar bike. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Moto 3, there's no one really under pressure as such. So
it's a bit of a changing of the guard this year as well. Everyone's kind of going up. We've had one Maxi win a title.
I think Calso's got to improve to a certain extent. Race pace, he qualified well this year, but we'll see. I mean, obviously we notice him more being an Australian.
Of course, yeah,
so
we pay more attention to it.
We pay more attention to him, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's right. I had both the Aprilia boys. Like they need to do something.
Yeah.
Like I get Aleix Espargaro's probably it's his last lap, but he's on a good seat. And Maverick Vinales is talent, and I think Aprilia need to do better than what they are doing. You at least got Brad Binder of KTM, but yeah, that's my one. And the Bastianini, as I've already spoken about, and as I've already spoken about, the Japanese factories like Luca Marini, he doesn't have any pressure, but Honda's got the pressure to step up.
Yeah.
To actually do something. Otherwise, like if it's Yamaha, they're going to lose Quartararo. And that's one of the biggest talents on the grid.
Yeah, definitely think the riders aren't under pressure. Because they're both talented riders and
they're doing what they can.
Yeah, if they finish last and second last every race, it's not their fault.
Correct.
Yeah. And the hard thing is for those manufacturers is trying to entice someone to come.
Yeah.
And the only people you'll get is, say, for example, an Aleix Espargaro who wants to go again, who's on his last... But you know what I mean? Like, they're on their last legs, like it's their last shot to stay in MotoGP.
Yeah.
A young kid's not going to want to come up on that bike.
It's a great point. Way. It was so hard to find a seat to get someone for that seat this year. I mean, if they have another crap year, who else are they going to go to?
Do you reckon if that bike was still amazing, they had Marc Marquez on there, they would have had a shot of luring Pedro Acosta into that Repsol Honda as a teammate? This is a crazy hypothetical.
I don't know. I think he's in bed with KTM, isn't he?
I think so. That's their love child.
Yeah.
That's
gas old bike compared to a Repsol Honda on a Spanish team.
I don't think KTM would have let it happen.
On a good bike? Remember, if it was a good Repsol Honda.
I don't think KTM would let it happen.
Is it up to KTM though? When the contract's out?
It's hard to say.
It is hard to say. It's a crazy
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know. I reckon KTM would have made room for him. If that was the
they would have either pushed Jack Miller out.
100%.
They would have gone harder.
If that's what you're saying, if it's a big hypothetical like that, then yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bigger if that bike was quality, that Repsol Honda was quality, then KTM would have dropped everything, put him in the factory bike, 100%.
Yeah.
Because they would have felt under pressure from Honda.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think the other thing is you would have seen both of them up there anyway, if it was a quality bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think Mir's seat would have...
better,
his seat wouldn't have been under threat.
That's a good point as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's big. And just on that, Jack Miller's another one to watch out for. He's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, actually, he's probably one of the most under pressure.
But probably more so than Morbidelli.
Yeah, you're actually right.
Because he's on an actual factory bike.
And you got a cost of breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah. He's another one that's probably not going to be on that bike in 2025, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Unless he wins races next year.
Yeah, he's going to be...
I don't even think podiums is going to get him to stay on that bike.
Top 6, man.
Like how
top 5.
They can't have a Costa on that second bike
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Nah, they'll lose him.
He'll go.
He's too good. Everyone knows he's too good. But yeah, that's I think that's...
Yeah, I'm very excited for next year. It's going to be awesome.
I know.
And what a year of MotoGP we've had.
Yeah.
And what a first year of Motorsport Republica to cover. So.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
It's been good for us.
It's been amazing.
It's been very good for us. And the small break helps us as well.
Yeah.
Regather.
Yeah. Right. We'll see you next week.
Done.
Yep.
Beautiful.
See you.